Top stories of the week, budget gone bust, and how to maximise your annual leave without breaking the bank. Welcome to Escape News, your go-to source for travel updates and inspiration. I am Zoe and I will guide you through the latest stories. We are going to do this a little bit differently today because it's been a really busy week for myself and I've got a lot to update you guys with. So just to note, the video will be sorted into different segments which you can choose in the play bar below. So we're going to start off with some flight information for this week, as we should all be aware about what's been going on. So let's dive in. Imagine boarding your flight on a gloomy afternoon only to find yourself circling back to the airport less than half an hour later after a terrifying lightning strike. What happened next had passengers shocked and the entire airline scrambling to keep things under control. On a stormy Thursday afternoon, passengers aboard Loganair's flight LM26 were expecting a routine trip from Manchester to Aberdeen, but just 30 minutes after takeoff, disaster struck, quite literally. At approximately 16,000 feet, a bolt of lightning hit the aircraft, cracking its windshield and forcing the pilot to signal the emergency code 7700. This code, universally recognised in aviation as general emergency, set off a chain reaction, and as the plane began to descend back to Manchester Airport. Here's what we know. So it departed Manchester Airport around 4:30 p.m. and its journey was interrupted when the pilot made a critical decision to turn back, looping above Skipton before touching down safely around 5 p.m. So a spokesman for Loganair confirmed that the aircraft landed as normal and our team are currently arranging onward travel for customers to reach their final destination. The safety and well-being of our customers and its crew is of the utmost importance to us. So it's worth noting that despite the dramatic nature of the incident, the aircraft's crew handled the situation with professionalism, ensuring that the passengers disembarked safely. So what was it like on board? One passenger, Morag, recounted her experience. I was actually sleeping when the plane struck by lightning at first. I thought the turbulence, but actually my partner noticed a flash and realised something was wrong when the aircraft stopped ascending and began circling. When we landed, I saw the cracked windscreen. It was so surreal. Images from the scene show emergency crews waiting at Manchester Airport as the plane taxied to safety. While the photos of the damaged cockpit exist, Loganair has requested that they do not be published, citing security concerns. This incident didn't occur in isolation. The Met Office had actually issued a yellow weather warning for much of the UK, predicting gusts of up to 70 miles per hour and heavy wind. Loganair had even preemptively warned passengers that the flights may be disrupted and allow travellers to reschedule without charge. Among the airports affected were Manchester, Isles of Man, London, Heathrow, Newcastle, and well, many more, mainly the whole UK. But for those on the flight of LM26, what should have been a seamless journey turned into a tale of unexpected peril. This story is a wake-up call about the realities of travel during adverse weather. Let us know in the comments, how would you react in a situation like this? Stowaway on the run, a flight from New York to Paris turns into a security nightmare. How does someone board an international flight without a ticket, bypass multiple security checks and evade detection until the plane is in the air? Now, this isn't a spy thriller. It's a true story of a 57-year-old Russian national whose unauthorized journey from New York to Paris has sparked outrage, a security review and a legal storm. Stay tuned as we unravel how this happened and what it means for airline security, and the surprising twist that has left the stowaway in, well, sort of a limbo. So the journey began at New York's JFK Airport, where she managed to slip past security using a special access lane for the airline employees. Blending in with Air Europa flight crew, she was screened by TSA agents despite not having a ticket. From there, evading the Delta Airlines staff at the boarding gate and successfully boarded the flight to Paris, a journey that would change her life and disrupt countless others. On board, she drew attention when she was moving between the bathrooms and avoided taking a seat. The flight attendants grew suspicious of this, and by the time that the plane was in the air, it became very clear that Miss Daly was not on the list of passenger manifests. So as the plane approached Paris, Delta staff notified the authorities. Upon landing, the French police arrested Miss Daly, and then she attempted to claim asylum in France, citing fears of returning to the United States. However, the French authorities have denied this request, leaving her stranded in a legal limbo. This story reads like a script from a heist film, but really actually highlights the security lapses and what we should be concerned about as a traveller. The glaring question really is how did this happen? Like, according to TSA, a spokesperson said that Miss Daly passed to not one, but two identity verification checkpoints while she went through an advanced imaging body scanner and was cleared of prohibited items. No one flagged her lack of a boarding pass. Delta Airlines have since launched a massive investigation, calling the incident unacceptable. In a statement, they stressed nothing is of greater importance than the matters of safety and security. TSA echoed this, concerning that Miss Daly's actions were abnormally among the 18 million passengers screened during the busy Thanksgiving travel season. But this isn't just one story of an individual slipping through the cracks. It raises deeper questions about the security and the vulnerabilities of airport systems and the human errors that could lead to such breaches. While TSA and Delta are working to address these failures, the fact that this could happen at one of the busiest airports in the world is deeply concerning. It's a reminder that even with all the advanced technology that we have, human oversight remains critical. And her journey hasn't just exposed the security flaws, but it's also plunged her into a really complicated legal battle. In the United States, she faces charges of being a stowaway and a crime that carries a penalty of up to 5 years in prison. Honestly, America's prison system is just way above my head. It's way too much for me to even deal with. But in France, the asylum request was completely denied. Like, they didn't even think about it. They were like, no way, not a chance. She didn't meet the necessary criteria, and the report suggests that she caused a disturbance on the flight as well. So that's definitely returning her to the US. But she's actually come out with a statement that says, I do not want to go back to the USA. Only a judge can make me go back. Videos were shared on social media that captured the tense atmosphere on board as passengers waited for the police to remove Miss Daly. A captain was heard saying, folks, we are just waiting for the police to come on board to sort out the extra passenger. Now, if I heard that while I was on the plane, I would definitely be confused about what's going on and wondering how they got through. It definitely feels like a reverse Home Alone moment there. But for now, Miss Daly remains in France, effectively stranded, as authorities in both countries they'll have to determine her fate, but really they don't want anything to do with her. Her actions have sparked a global conversation about the airport security. Is it really going to change anything? Probably not. What's your take? Should the focus be on tightening security, or should it be more on the attention of why she ran away from America and what was the reason behind her actions? So let me know in the comments what you think on that one. Now, have you wondered what happens when a budget airline runs out of luck? Spirit Airlines, one of the pioneers of ultra low cost travel in the United States, has filed for bankruptcy. But don't start cancelling your flights just yet, because operations are continuing as normal. So what went wrong? Despite a surge in demand for budget travel, Spirit has faced mounting of challenges. The airline hasn't just posted a full year of profit since the pandemic, and this year alone it has reported a loss of around 360 million, with competition of the low-cost market heating up and operational costs are soaring. Engine troubles have grounded parts of its fleet, adding to the financial strain. Spirit struggles to merge with bigger players like JetBlue and Frontier Airlines. They've also played a part in this, but the $3 billion merger with Jet2 was blocked by Massachusetts judge earlier this year, who argued it would reduce competition in the market. Now, I think it's a little bit unfair, but we'll move on. It's the first US airline to declare bankruptcy in over a decade. why? Like, what's going on? We need budget airlines. New York Stock Exchange and its shares are actually becoming worthless. It's starting to remind us that even budget travel, with its allure of low fares, isn't immune to economic turbulence. Not everyone books a budget anymore. So the big question now is, can Spirit rebuild its legacy, or are we witnessing the final boarding call for this budget travel agent? Could this be the beginning of an end for those frustrating hand luggage fees? A Portuguese court has just ruled it illegal for airlines to charge passengers for carrying cabin baggage. That is in the overhead department. This decision is already being hailed as a historic victory for consumers' rights, and it's likely to send shockwaves across the aviation industry. This all started with a Ryanair passenger who took the airline to court after being charged €56.50 to bring their bag on board. The judge ruled that charging for bags up to the size requirements of Ryanair was a direct violation of consumer rights. Ryanair has been ordered to refund the fee, and other low-cost airlines like EasyJet, Wizz Air and Vueling, who have similar policies, could also face a wave of legal challenges. Consumer Rights for a group of Citizens Voice, which has supported the case, estimates this ruling could cost budget airlines €10 billion in Portugal alone. But this isn't just a Portuguese issue. There is growing momentum across Europe. Earlier this year, Spain fined Ryanair and other carriers €150 million for similar violations, and European Parliament members are pushing for standardised rules on cabin baggage. Well, here's where it gets interesting for the UK, because could this ruling set something for the British travellers? After all, hand luggage fees are one of the biggest complaints from passengers flying with budget airlines. While the UK is no longer part of the EU, it's hard to ignore the potential ripple effect that this ruling might have. If other European countries follow suit, pressure could mount on UK airlines to change their policies too. However, there is a flip side. Airlines argue that these fees are crucial to keeping ticket prices low. If the courts start banning them, then we could see an increase in ticket prices, and some experts worry that this might make budget airlines less sustainable, less affordable, and particularly in the UK market where competition is so fierce. What do you think? Should the UK adopt a similar measure, or would it ultimately backfire on passengers looking for cheap flights? I've personally used Ryanair multiple times. I've actually gone to Spain in a small little backpack, which is a personal item. It's difficult, but it's manageable. Does this bother you? Because it doesn't bother me. I'd rather the flights be cheaper and pay extra for baggage if needed. Now we're moving on to EasyJet, which is stretching its wings further than ever before. The budget airline has just announced its longest route from England, a direct flight between Gatwick and the islands of Sal in Cape Verde. Starting March the 31st next year, passengers can enjoy a 6-hour journey to this stunning destination known for its year-round warm weather and idyllic beaches. Now, this route covers 2,332 nautical miles, overtaking EasyJet's current longest route, which is England-Manchester to Hurghada in Egypt, and I am obsessed with Egypt. I need to get that booked. Anyway, however, it still falls just shy of the airline's network-wide record between Belfast and Hurghada, which is obviously Egypt, like I just said. But that stretches 2,400 miles, so it's not that much less, but it's still quite a long route for EasyJet. EasyJet plans to operate 3 return flights weekly on this new route using its eco-efficient A320 aircraft. It's not just Sal on the horizon. This announcement is part of EasyJet's release of 26 new summer routes, with 21 serving UK airports. EasyJet's UK country manager called this milestone for the airline, saying it's their first ever sub-Saharan service, and testament to EasyJet's ongoing investment in the UK connectivity. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. EasyJet is also set to launch flights from Gatwick to Jeddah in Saudi Arabia on the same day using the brand new Airbus A321. XLR aircraft. Sorry about that one, that took me a hot second. But this route will span 2,546 nautical miles, which is obviously more than the previous, overtaking SAL to become EasyJet's true longest route globally. So what does this mean for travellers? For one, it signals that EasyJet's ambition to expand its horizons and compete in longer haul markets, well, it's there, and traditionally it's been dominated by other carriers, but the big question is, will this push longer routes and maintain the affordability of EasyJet and what it's famous for? Or could it come with higher prices to sustain the operations? Cape Verde in particular represents an exciting new chapter for EasyJet as it ventures into a new part of the world that it's never served before. It's got pristine beaches, rich culture, and SAL is a must-see destination for British travellers seeking something different. So would you consider flying EasyJet for longer haul destinations like this, or do you think that you should stick with the budget airlines and just go short haul? But we're going to move on swiftly from all of the flight news today. And now, is Airbnb at risk? New rules threaten short-term rentals in Europe. If you are planning a European getaway, it might soon get a lot harder to check into your short-term rental. Both Italy and Spain are rolling out new strict measures aimed at increasing security and regulating booming short-term rental market. For travellers and hosts alike, this could mean a major shift in how we experience platforms like Airbnb. Let's start in Florence, Italy, where a sweeping new rule has been introduced. Tourists can no longer access the short-term rentals using key boxes, a common convenience for hosts and guests alike. The key boxes are really, really useful because it means that you can just go to the property at any time. You don't need to check in. There's no one there. It's a lot less stress, a lot more better for introverts that don't have to have the conversation with the host. But now property owners must verify the identity of all the guests in person before handing over the keys. So no longer can you sneak that extra person in the Airbnb. If you've booked for 2 and you're bringing 3 or 4, you ain't getting away with that anymore. I mean, you couldn't anyway because of Ring doorbells, but you can't get away with it. But this move isn't just limited to Florence, Italy. The police chief has ordered this policy to be implemented nationwide over the whole of Italy, and it's probably going to expand further, especially with the Spain rules going in. But the authorities are calling it a stringent measure to prevent the housing of individuals linked to criminals or terrorist organisations. In a statement, the police chief highlighted that delicate historical moment that we're living through, citing concerns over security amid rising global tensions. He also linked the policy to an upcoming large-scale event, such as the Catholic Church's Jubilee celebrations. Now, they obviously don't want anyone turning up. They want health and safety to be at their utmost priority, but this event is expected to attract millions of visitors, and honestly, I do understand it. I think it's a good idea, but obviously it is a little bit more inconvenient. The new rules are being described more as a tool for effective access controls and a way to curb unfair competition in the hospitality sector, because really Airbnbs are on the uprise and hotels are seeing a lot less bookings, but that's because of people wanting more private lifestyle. But if they're now implementing these new rules, privacy is kind of going out the window there. But that's just on one side of the story. If you include Spain with the new regulations on demand, they're asking for 31 pieces of information for every place you go to. So these holiday rentals, this will be your car hire, your hotel, anything that includes some sort of hiring. You just need to prove your identity. But it's like they want your detailed travel plans. They want to know exactly what you're doing, which some people are obviously not comfortable with, and it complicates the booking process so much. So what does this mean for travellers and the short-term rental market? Airbnb, which has built its empire on convenience and flexibility could face some serious challenges in adapting to these heightened security demands. And while these measures aim to improve safety, could they deter visitors altogether? After all, who wants to jump through hoops just to stay in a cozy little flat? Some argue that these changes are necessary to address the concerns about security and over-tourism and its impact on local communities, but in Florence, critics have pointed out the visual blight of key boxes scattered across the historic cityscapes as evidence of a need for tighter controls. But for travellers, this raises broader questions. Will these rules spread to other countries? Could this be the beginning of a wider crackdown on platforms like Airbnb? Also, would you mind? Let me know in the comments. Now we're going to recover back to a story that was earlier in the week, the death of a British tourist, Tyler Kerry. He was 20 years old and it's been a complete shock. And they're actually demanding answers, which of course makes total sense. Tyler was found dead at the bottom of a lift shaft at Lara Beach in Antalya, Turkey on November the 29th. His younger brother Mason has actually said that he believes that he was murdered. Now there's been reports that he was drinking and they don't exactly know what's going on, but Tyler died after falling from the first floor while under the influence of alcohol. But his family really strongly dispute this. There is evidence that he was drinking, but there's no investigation on what actually happened. They've called for a thorough and transparent murder investigation, believing there are suspicious circumstances surrounding his death. Tyler's grandmother, Colette Kerry, expressed her disgust at the police's response, claiming she hasn't actually received any clear answers. She's described the trip as a holiday of a lifetime that turned into a nightmare. The family is now calling for justice, demanding a full investigation to uncover what really happened. TUI, the holiday provider, has offered support, but the Kerry family remains desperate for the truth. They have no idea what's going on. They're still raising money, of course. The GoFundMe, I will link again in the description of the video. What are your thoughts? Like, what is going on? Are we not safe in other countries? Are you stuck in the 9-to-5 grind but dreaming of long escapes? Oh my god, this is me every single year. I want to make the most out of my annual leave, and if you do, then you need to listen to this. But UK employees now have the chance to maximise their annual leave and enjoy up to 58 days while only using your 28 days of paid holiday, thanks to strategic planning around bank holidays in England and Wales. So how it works: by carefully aligning annual leave with the national bank holidays, workers can stretch their time off into longer consecutive breaks. Here's a breakdown of the proposed plan. December 2024 booked 5 days between the 23rd, 24th and 27th, along with the 30th and the 31st. This results in a 16-day holiday, taking advantage of Christmas and the New Year bank holiday. Going into January 2025, use 2 days on January the 2nd and the 3rd to secure a 5-day break for the start of the new year. April 2025, book leave around Easter, taking 4 days off, April the 14th to the 17th and April the 22nd to the 25th, creating 2 consecutive 4-day holidays. May 2025, now this one's my favourite, but that's because my birthday's in May. Capitalise early on the late and early May bank holiday. Book 8 days to enjoy 2 9-day breaks. May 6th to 9th and 27th to 30th. Moving on to the August bank holidays, which is the busiest bank holidays in my opinion. Book 4 days from the 26th to the 29th around late summer for another 9-day getaway. Now going into December 2025. Crazy, that's literally a year away. Use 6 days around Christmas and New Year, very similar. So we're going the 22nd to the 24th and the 29th to the 21st. That creates a 13-day escape. January 2026, start the year with 1 day off in January the 2nd for a 16-day stretch of relaxation. It matters that the approach allows employees to recharge more often without using up their entire annual leave allowance. With just 28 days, but workers gain 58 days total time off. perfect for planning extended holidays, family time, or personal projects. Smart leave planning isn't just a clever hack, it's a lifestyle upgrade for workers. By aligning with public holidays, UK employees can escape the hustle and bustle and indulge in meaningful breaks without sacrificing work commitments. So if you've ever wished for a holiday that doesn't eat into your paycheck or annual leave balance, 2025 might just be your year to turn your dream into a reality. I have used this many a times. It's quite difficult. I do advise that you get all of this booked in as soon as possible because everyone else is going to book in, especially when it comes to the summer bank holidays, May, etc. Now, this does mean that flight prices will probably be more increased, but you will be saving yourself time and money by using this method. Our race across the world style competition's killing the joy of travel. In mid-August, if you saw a swarm of 180 travellers sprinting out of Trafalgar Square, backpacks in tow, bound for Albania, you'd probably think that the Wanderlust and the adventure was the culprit. But it wasn't about that, and it wasn't about exploring. This mass movement was part of a 1,200-mile trans-European race organised by Lupine Travel, inspired by the popular BBC Race Across the World series. The premise: participants ditch flights, smartphones and credit cards, racing across the continents via public transport. This year's winner of London to Tirana race clocked in at just under 2 days and 21 hours, likely experiencing a little more than a fleet of glimpses of the motorway scenery and a bus windows along the way. But such as competitions raise a troubling question. Is travel racing eroding the joy of seeing the world? The BBC show, with its heartwarming moments and breathtaking landscapes, has captivated millions and inspired wanderers. Its introduction suggests that flying has made us forget how to travel proper. At the pace in which the contestants blitz through the continents, it kind of contradicts this message. Covering 10,000 miles in a month on a cramped bus and train leaves little time for a cultural immersion or meaningful experience. Don't get me wrong, the show is entertaining, and watching it, unlikely globetrotters are going to navigate around this way. But modern conveniences make it a great television show, but when the goal becomes to get there faster rather than join the journey, it kind of makes us lose why travel is so enriching. The people we meet, the flavours we taste, the stories and everything that we go through, we just lose it from that TV programme, and I don't want that to continue. But we're going to go on to destination of the day, and today's destination is Lisbon, Portugal, a festive winter wonderland. And I, for some reason, put a little emoji in my notes, and it's just made me cheer up, which is so sweet. Looking for a European city break with warm winter twist. Now, this Christmas you need to head to Lisbon, where festive charm meets stunning scenery, rich culture and mild temperatures. I'm telling you, it is like 15 degrees there right now. Get over there. You only need to wear a light coat or a jumper, and southerners, take your big coat. But with flights from the UK starting at £50 to £80 return, Lisbon offers a fantastic value for winter getaway that won't break the bank. Whether you're after culture, scenic views or a cosy holiday vibe, Lisbon offers something for every type of traveller. Now, why visit Lisbon at Christmas? Lisbon during the holiday season transforms into this magical city filled with festive lights, decorations and a cheerful atmosphere. Wander through
say it all together. Luggage.
Luggage. Wander through Baggio, where the streets are illuminated with dazzling Christmas displays. Rossio Square becomes beautiful seasonal centrepiece with a twinkling light vibrant holiday decor, creating a joyful atmosphere. And I mean, they have a massive tree there this year. Don't know if you've seen it, but I have. Accommodation is affordable and offers great value. You can find budget-friendly hostels for around £15 to £30 per night, depending on what amenities you'd like, while mid-range hotels typically cost around £60 to £120. For a more upscale experience, boutique hotels and luxury stays range from £150 to £300 per night, dependent on the location and amenities. Booking in advance ensures that you get the best deals during the festive season. Dining in Lisbon, Portugal is known for its hearty, delicious cuisine, and Lisbon offers a great dining experience and many of options for all budgets. A budget meal in the local Tasco, which is a small restaurant, costs around £10 to £15, but for a mid-range restaurant experience, expect to pay £20 to £35 for a 3-course meal per person, which honestly isn't even that bad. If you're feeling fancy and want a seafood feast or upscale dining restaurants in areas like Belém or the Barreto Alto district, this can cost around £50 to £70 per person. Don't forget to try Lisbon's famous pastel de nata, which is a delightful custard tart that is a must-have treat aliside bica, which is a Portuguese espresso. I don't know if I said that right, but what you need to do in in Lisbon this Christmas is explore the Alfama district. Now, this historic area offers breathtaking views of the city, quaint streets, and a beautiful viewpoint like the Miradoro di Santa Luisa. I'm pretty sure that's right, but that's perfect for scenic walks and photos. Now, the Don't forget to hop on Tram 28 ride on the famous tram, picturesque. Don't forget to ride on a picturesque way to explore Lisbon's charming streets and iconic landmarks without exhausting yourself, because Lisbon is really hilly, much to my disgust, because I mean, I like walking, but hills are not my favourite. You need to go to Belém Tower and Pastéis de Belém. So visit the iconic tower and don't miss by stopping by the famous Pastéis de Belém bakery, a popular local shop. You need to take a day trip to Sinatra. It's Sinatra? Which, oh my gosh, I'm really sorry about my pronunciation of this stuff, but I'll link it below. But it's a short 40-minute train ride from Lisbon, and it's a fairy tale destination filled with stunning castles like the Pena Palace and the landscapes, historical charms. It's just beautiful. And imagine if it snowed, the views you would get, the photos as well. Ugh. Christmas markets are all over Lisbon, so you need to head to the Christmas markets around Príncipe Real, where all the stalls offer handmade crafts, artistic treats and festive souvenirs. Mild weather in winter as well. Like I said, it's around 15 degrees at the moment, which is very unlike other European destinations. At night it only goes to 10, so honestly you will be fine. But if you want to escape to colder destinations, I mean, Iceland, go to Iceland. Well, don't go to Iceland because there's been a volcano. But this ensures that you can actually comfortably explore the city's outdoor attractions throughout your stay, and you're not going to be freezing cold. But if you're looking for a festive escape with stunning views, warm temperatures and great food, unforgettable culture, Lisbon this Christmas offers everything you could want at a budget-friendly prices. It's an ideal choice for a quick getaway, combining scenic beauty and Portuguese food, oh my god, I'm obsessed, and holiday charm. But thanks for tuning in to Escape News, where every day is a journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that inspires your next adventure. Until next time, safe travels and happy exploring.